Hello, and welcome to Bookish English. I am very happy that you are here today. If this is your first time on this channel, welcome. And if you come here often, thank you. Thank you for learning English with me. Today, we are going to learn English in an easy and beautiful way. We are going to learn English through stories. Stories are the best way to learn a new language. When you listen to a story, you do not only learn words, you also feel the story. You see the pictures in your mind, and when you feel something, you remember it. So stories help you learn faster, and they help you remember more. Today, I have 3 beautiful stories for you. All of them are easy. All of them are for beginners. The first story is about love. The second story is about travel. And the third story is about friendship. After each story, we will practice together. We will answer simple questions. We will learn new words. And we will learn a little bit of English grammar too. So this video is not only a story, it is a full English lesson. Now let me give you some advice. This advice is very important. First, do not try to understand every single word. That is not necessary. Just listen and read the words on the screen. Second, listen to this video many times. The first time you will understand a little. The second time you will understand more. The third time you will understand almost everything. And third, try to speak. When I say a sentence, you can say it too. Do not be shy. Nobody is listening. This is your time to practice. Are you ready? Take a deep breath. Relax, and let us begin with our first story. It is called The Gift of the Magi. It is one of the most famous love stories in the world. Once upon a time, there was a young man and a young woman. Their names were Jim and Della. Jim and Della were married, and they loved each other very, very much. But they had a problem. They were poor. They did not have much money. They lived in a small, old room in a big city. The room was not beautiful. The furniture was old, but Jim and Della were happy because they had each other. It was a cold winter day. It was the day before Christmas. Della sat on the old chair in the small room, and she was thinking. She wanted to buy a Christmas gift for Jim. She wanted to buy something special. She wanted to buy something beautiful because she loved him so much. Della had a small box. In this box, she kept her money. She opened the box, and she counted the money. She counted it slowly, $1.87. That was all. That was all the money she had. $1.87. It was not enough. It was not enough for a good gift. Della counted the money again, but of course, it was the same, $1.87. She closed the box, and then Della did something. She put her face in her hands, and she began to cry. She cried, and she cried. She was sad because she loved Jim, and she wanted to give him something wonderful, but she had almost no money. After some time, Della stopped crying. She stood up, and she walked to the window. Outside, the sky was gray. It was going to snow. Della looked at the street. People were walking home. Their arms were full of gifts and food. Tomorrow was Christmas, and everybody was happy. Everybody, but not Della. Now, I must tell you something important. Jim and Della were poor. This is true. But they had 2 special things, 2 beautiful things, and they were very proud of these 2 things. The first special thing was Jim's watch. It was a gold pocket watch. It was very, very old. This watch belonged to Jim's father, and before that, it belonged to Jim's grandfather. So the watch was very important to Jim. It was a family treasure. Jim loved his gold watch. The second special thing was Della's hair. Oh, Della's hair was beautiful. It was long, and it was brown, and it was soft. When Della let her hair down, it fell all the way down her back, like a brown river. It was so long and so beautiful. Many women wanted hair like Della's hair. Della loved her hair very much. Della turned away from the window. She walked to the mirror on the wall. She stood in front of the mirror, and she looked at herself. She looked at her long, beautiful hair. She looked for a long time. And then, suddenly, her eyes became bright. She had an idea. It was a big idea. It was a difficult idea, but it was a way to buy a gift for Jim. Quickly, Della let her hair down. It fell all around her, long and brown and shining. For one moment, she stopped. She touched her hair softly, and maybe 1 or 2 tears fell from her eyes. But then, she was strong again. She put on her old brown coat, and she put on her old brown hat. She opened the door, and she went out into the cold winter street. Della walked quickly. She walked past many shops. Finally, she stopped in front of one shop. On the window, there was a sign, and the sign said, "Here we buy hair." Della looked at the sign. She took a deep breath. Then she opened the door and went inside. Inside the shop, there was a large woman. The woman was not friendly. She did not smile. Della spoke. "Will you buy my hair?" she asked. "I buy hair," said the woman. "Take off your hat and let me see it." Della took off her hat. Her beautiful long hair fell down. The woman came close, and she looked at the hair. She lifted it in her hand. "I will give you $20, said the woman. "All right," said Della. Her voice was quiet. "Give me the money, and please, cut it quickly." So the woman cut Della's beautiful long hair. Della closed her eyes. In 2 minutes, it was finished. The long brown hair was gone. Now, Della had short hair, but now, in her hand, she had $20. Della put her hat back on. She went out into the street again, but now, she was not sad. Now, she was excited. Now, she had money, enough money to buy a wonderful gift for Jim. Della went from shop to shop. She looked, and she looked, and she looked. She wanted the perfect gift. Nothing was good enough. But then, at last, she found it. In one small shop, she saw it, and she knew immediately. It was a chain for Jim's watch. It was a beautiful silver chain. It was simple. It was not big, and it was not showy. It was quiet and strong and good, just like Jim himself. Della looked at the chain, and she was sure. This was the gift. She knew that Jim would love it. Jim had this wonderful old watch, but he had no good chain for it. So sometimes he did not take it out in front of other people. But now, with this beautiful chain, Jim could look at his watch anytime, anywhere. He could be proud. "How much is this chain?" Della asked. $21, said the shopkeeper. Della paid $21. Now she had only 87 cents left in the whole world, but she did not care. She was so happy. She held the little box with the silver chain, and she almost ran home. When Della came near her home, she began to feel a little afraid. She touched her short hair. What would Jim think? Would he be angry? Would he still love her? She looked at herself in a shop window. Her hair was so short now. "Oh," she said quietly to herself, "I hope Jim will still think I am pretty. Please, please still love me, Jim." Della went into the small room. She tried to make her short hair look nice. Then she waited. She put the little box on the table, and she waited for Jim to come home. At 7 o'clock, Della heard steps outside. The door opened. Jim came in. He looked tired, and he looked cold. His coat was old, and he had no gloves. Jim came in, and then he stopped. He stood very still. He looked at Della. He looked at her short hair, and on his face there was a strange look. It was not anger. It was not sadness. It was a look that Della could not understand. Jim just looked at her, and did not speak. Della's heart was beating fast. She walked to him. "Jim, darling," she said, "please do not look at me like that. I cut my hair, and I sold it. I sold my hair because I wanted to buy you a Christmas gift. I could not give you Christmas with only $1. My hair will grow again. It grows very fast. Please, Jim, say Merry Christmas. Please be happy. I have a wonderful gift for you." Jim seemed to wake up, like a man waking from a dream. He put his arms around Della, and he held her close. Then, slowly, he took a small package out of his coat pocket, and he put it on the table. "Della," he said softly, "I love you. Short hair or long hair, you are still my Della. Nothing can change that. But open this package, and you will understand why I looked at you in that strange way." Della opened the package quickly, and for one moment, she gave a cry of pure joy. But then, in the next moment, the joy turned into tears, because inside the package were combs, beautiful combs for her hair. Della saw these combs once, a long time ago, in a shop window. She wanted them so much. They were beautiful and expensive, and she knew she could never have them. And now, finally, they were hers. But her long, beautiful hair was gone. Della held the combs close to her heart. Then she looked up at Jim, and she smiled through her tears. "My hair grows so fast, Jim," she said. "You will see. It will be long again very soon." And then, suddenly, Della remembered her own gift. She jumped up, she opened her hand, and showed Jim the beautiful silver chain. It shone brightly in the light. "Look, Jim, isn't it beautiful? I searched the whole city for it. Now, give me your watch. I want to see how your watch looks with this chain." But Jim did not give her the watch. Instead, Jim sat down on the small bed. He put his hands behind his head, and he smiled a slow, gentle smile. "Della," he said, "let us put our gifts away for now. Let us keep them for a little while. They are too beautiful to use today. You see, my dear, I sold my gold watch. I sold my watch to get the money to buy your combs." For a moment, the room was very quiet. Jim and Della looked at each other. Della had sold her beautiful hair to buy a chain for Jim's watch, and Jim had sold his beautiful watch to buy combs for Della's hair. Now Della had no long hair, and the combs were useless. Now Jim had no watch, and the chain was useless. Each one had sold the most precious thing to the other, and they understood something wonderful. They understood that they loved each other more than gold and more than beautiful hair. Their gifts could not be used, but their love was bigger than any gift. And here is the last thing. A long, long time ago, 3 wise men brought gifts to a baby. These wise men were called the Magi. They were the first people in the world to give Christmas gifts, and they were wise. Now, some people might say that Jim and Della were foolish. They sold their best things, and they got gifts they could not use. But that is not true. Jim and Della were not foolish. Jim and Della were wise. Of all the people who give gifts, they were the wisest of all, because they gave everything they had. They gave with a full heart. They gave with love. And love, my friends, is the greatest gift of all. That is the story of the gift of the Magi. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, let us make sure you understood the story, and let us practice your English at the same time. I am going to ask some questions about the story. Try to answer the questions in your head. Then listen to me and check your answer. This is very good practice, so listen carefully. Were Jim and Della rich? No. Jim and Della were not rich. They were poor. They did not have much money. Did they love each other? Yes. They loved each other very much. They were poor in money, but they were rich in love. What day was it in the story? It was winter. It was cold, and it was the day before Christmas. How much money did Della have? Della had $1.87. That was all. It was not enough for a good gift. What did Della do when she counted the money? She was sad. She cried. She cried because she wanted to buy a beautiful gift for Jim. Now, Jim and Della had two special things. What was Jim's special thing? Jim's special thing was his gold watch. It was very old. It belonged to his father and to his grandfather. And what was Della's special thing? Della's special thing was her hair, her long, brown, beautiful hair. What did Della sell? Did she sell her coat? No, she did not sell her coat. She sold her hair. She sold her beautiful hair. How much money did she get for her hair? She got $20 for her hair. What did Della buy for Jim? She bought a silver chain, a chain for his gold watch. How much did the chain cost? The chain cost $21. Now let us talk about Jim. What did Jim sell? Jim sold his watch. He sold his gold watch. And why did Jim sell his watch? Jim sold his watch to buy combs for Della's beautiful hair. So there was a problem at the end. What was the problem? The problem was this. Della had no long hair now, so she could not use the combs. And Jim had no watch now, so he could not use the chain. Both gifts were useless. But were Jim and Della sad? No, they were not truly sad. They smiled at each other, because they understood that their love was the greatest gift of all. Very good. You are doing very well. When you can answer these questions, it means you understood the story, and that is wonderful. Now, let us learn a little English grammar. Do not worry. It is very easy, and it will help you speak better. In this story, we use two small words many times. These words are was and were. Listen carefully. We use the word was for one person or one thing. For example, Della was poor. Jim was tired. The room was small. The watch was old. The chain was beautiful. In all of these sentences, we talk about one person or one thing, so we use was. Della was poor. Jim was tired. And we use the word were for two or more people or things. For example, Jim and Della were married. They were young. They were poor. The combs were beautiful. In all of these sentences, we talk about more than one, so we use were. They were poor. They were happy. Let us say some sentences together. She was sad. He was tired. They were married. They were poor. The watch was old. The combs were beautiful. Good. Now you know how to use was and were. This is very important English, and now you understand it. Let us learn one more thing. In this story, we used many action words about the past. In English, we call these past verbs. Listen. Buy becomes bought. She bought a chain. Sell becomes sold. He sold his watch. Cut stays the same. She cut her hair. Give becomes gave. He gave her the combs. Look becomes looked. She looked in the mirror. So when we talk about the past, the action words change. She bought, he sold, she looked, he gave. Say them with me one more time. She bought a chain, he sold his watch. She looked in the mirror, he gave her the combs. Good, this is real, useful English. Now, let us learn something else that is very useful question words. In English, we ask questions with special words. Let us learn them with our story, so they are easy to remember. We use the word who to ask about a person. Who was poor? Della was poor. Who sold the watch? Jim sold the watch. Who loved Della? Jim loved Della. So who asks about a person? We use the word what to ask about a thing. What did Della sell? She sold her hair. What did Jim buy? He bought the combs. What was Jim's special thing? It was his gold watch. So, what asks about a thing? We use the word where to ask about a place. Where did Della go? She went to the shop. Where did Jim and Della live? They lived in a small room in the city. So, where asks about a place. We use the word why to ask about a reason. Why did Della cry? Because she had no money for a good gift. Why did Jim sell his watch? Because he wanted to buy combs for Della. So, why asks about a reason. And listen, we answer a why question with the word because she had no money. Because he loved her. And last, we use how much to ask about money or amount. How much money did Della have? $1.87. How much did the chain cost? $21. So now you know 5 question words. Who, what, where, why, and how much. These words are very powerful. With these words, you can ask about almost anything in English. Practice them this week. Very good. Now let us learn our vocabulary. Here are the most important words from the first story. I will say the word. Then I will tell you the meaning. Then I will give you 2 example sentences. Listen and repeat after me, if you can. The first word is poor. Poor means you do not have much money. Example 1. Jim and Della were poor. Example 2. The poor family lived in a small room. Poor. The next word is gift. A gift is something you give to another person. We also call it a present. Example 1. Della wanted to buy a gift for Jim. Example 2. A gift shows that you love someone. Gift. The next word is watch. A watch is a small clock. You wear it or you carry it in your pocket. Example 1. Jim had a beautiful gold watch. Example 2. My watch tells me the time. Watch. The next word is chain. A chain is a line of small metal rings joined together. Example 1. Della bought a silver chain. Example 2. The chain was for Jim's watch. Chain. The next word is sell, and its past form, sold. To sell means to give something and get money for it. Example 1. Della sold her hair for $20. Example 2. The man sells fruit in the market. Sell. Sold. A. The next word is buy, and its past form, bought. To buy means to give money and get something. Example 1. Jim bought combs for Della. Example 2. I want to buy some bread. Buy. Bought. The next word is hair. Hair grows on your head. Example 1. Della had long, beautiful hair. Example 2. His hair is short and black. Hair. The next word is mirror. A mirror is a special glass. When you look at it, you see yourself. Example 1. Della looked in the mirror. Example 2. There is a mirror on the wall. Mirror. The last word for this story is wise. Wise means clever and good at making decisions. Example 1. Jim and Della were wise, because they gave with love. Example 2. My grandmother is a very wise woman. Wise. Wonderful. Now you know 10 new English words. Say them again in your mind. Poor, gift, watch, chain, sell, buy, hair, mirror, wise. These words are very useful. You will hear them and use them often. Now, let us move to our second story. This story is very different. It is a happy story about travel. It is called A Day at the Airport. In this story, you will learn many useful words for travel. So if one day you want to fly on an airplane, this story will help you a lot. Let us begin. Maria was very excited. Today was a big day for Maria. Today, for the very first time in her life, Maria was going to fly on an airplane. She was flying to a new city to visit her sister. Maria had never flown before, so she was excited and a little nervous, both at the same time. Early in the morning, Maria came to the airport. The airport was huge. It was the biggest building Maria had ever seen. There were people everywhere. Some people were happy, some people were tired, and some people were running because they were late for their flight. There were signs everywhere, with words and arrows. There were so many things to see. For a moment, Maria did not know what to do. She stood still, and she looked around her. Then she saw a big sign. The sign said, "Check-in." Maria remembered that this was the first thing to do at an airport, so she walked to the check-in desk. Behind the check-in desk, there was a friendly woman. The woman smiled at Maria. "Good morning," said the woman. "Welcome. May I see your ticket and your passport, please?" Maria opened her bag. She took out her ticket and her passport, and she gave them to the woman. "Thank you very much," said the woman. She looked at the ticket. "You are flying to the city today. That is correct. Now, do you have any bags to check in?" "Yes," said Maria. "I have one big bag. Please put your big bag here, on this machine," said the woman. Maria lifted her big bag, and she put it on the machine. The machine weighed the bag to see if it was too heavy. "That is perfect," said the woman. "Your bag is not too heavy. Now, here is your ticket. Please listen carefully. Your gate is gate number 12. Your airplane leaves at 10 o'clock in the morning. Please be at the gate early. Have a wonderful flight." "Thank you so much," said Maria, and she smiled. Now Maria had to do the next thing. She had to go through security. At the security area, there were many machines and many officers. A kind officer explained what to do. "Please put your bag, your phone, and your coat in this box," the officer said. "Then walk through this door, please." Maria put her small bag, her phone, and her coat in the box. Then she walked through a special door. The machine was quiet. Everything was fine. Maria took her things again, and she was ready to continue. Now Maria had some free time before her flight, and she was hungry because she woke up very early. So she went to a small cafe inside the airport. She bought a hot coffee and a fresh sandwich. She sat down at a small table, and she ate slowly. The coffee was warm and good. The sandwich was delicious. Maria felt calm and happy. After her breakfast, Maria looked for her gate. She remembered gate number 12. She followed the signs. She walked a little to the left, then a little to the right, then straight ahead for a long time. The airport was so big. Finally, she saw it. Gate number 12. There were many rows of chairs, and many people, all waiting for the same flight. Maria found an empty chair, and she sat down, and she waited. After some time, Maria heard a voice. It was an announcement. The voice said, "Good morning, passengers. This is the flight to the city. We are now ready. Please come to gate number 12. It is time to board the airplane." Maria stood up. Her heart was beating fast. She was nervous, but she was also very happy. She held her ticket in her hand, and she walked to the gate. An officer looked at her ticket and smiled and let her go through. Then Maria walked down a long tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel, there it was, the airplane. Maria stepped inside the airplane. A friendly flight attendant helped her find her seat. Maria's seat was next to the window. Maria was so happy. A window seat was the best seat for her first flight. She put her small bag under the seat in front of her. Then she sat down, and she put on her seatbelt. Click. Slowly, the airplane began to move. It moved onto a long, wide road, and then it stopped for a moment. The engines became loud, and then the airplane started to move again faster and faster and faster. Maria held her seat, and then she felt it. She felt the airplane lift up into the air. They were flying. Maria looked out of the window. Below her, the city became smaller and smaller. The houses looked like little toys. The cars looked like tiny insects. Then the airplane went higher, into the clouds. The clouds were white and soft, like mountains of snow. Maria had never seen anything so beautiful. Maria smiled a big smile. "I am flying," she thought. "I am really, really flying." It was one of the best days of her whole life. That is the story of a day at the airport. Now let us practice and let us learn the useful travel words. Let me ask you some questions. Where did Maria go in this story? Maria went to the airport. Why did she go to the airport? She went to the airport to fly to a new city to visit her sister. Was this her first flight? Yes, it was her very first time on an airplane. What did the woman at the check-in desk want to see? She wanted to see Maria's ticket and passport. What number was Maria's gate? Her gate was number 12. What time did the airplane leave? The airplane left at 10 o'clock in the morning. What did Maria eat at the cafe? She ate a sandwich, and she drank a hot coffee. Where was Maria's seat on the airplane? Her seat was next to the window. And how did Maria feel at the end of the story? She felt very happy. It was one of the best days of her life. Very good. Now let us learn the useful travel words from this story. These words are very important for real life. Listen carefully. The first word is airport. An airport is the place where airplanes take off and land. Example: Maria arrived at the airport early. Airport. The next word is ticket. A ticket is a paper or a document that shows you are allowed to travel. Example: Please show me your ticket. Ticket. The next word is passport. A passport is a small book. It shows who you are and which country you come from. You need it to travel to other countries. Example: Do not forget your passport. Passport. The next word is bag or luggage. This is where you put your clothes and things for your journey. Example: My bag is very heavy. Bag. The next word is gate. At the airport, the gate is the door where you get on your airplane. Example: Go to gate number 12. Gate. The next word is flight. A flight is a journey on an airplane. Example: Have a good flight. Flight. Ask. The next word is seat. A seat is a chair where you sit. Example: My seat is next to the window. Seat. The last word is seatbelt. A seatbelt is a belt that keeps you safe in your seat. Example, please put on your seatbelt. Seatbelt. Excellent. Now you know many travel words: airport, ticket, passport, bag, gate, flight, seat, seatbelt. With these words, you can travel in English. Well done. Now we come to our third and last story. This story is short, but it teaches a very important lesson about friendship. It is called The Two Friends. Let us listen. Once, there were two friends. Their names were Sam and Leo. They lived in a small village, near a big, dark forest. Sam and Leo did everything together. They were very good friends, or so they thought. One sunny day, Sam and Leo decided to walk through the forest. They walked together on the narrow path. They talked, and they laughed, and they were happy. The forest was quiet and green. The sun came through the leaves and made bright golden spots on the ground. Birds were singing in the trees. It was a beautiful, peaceful morning, and the two friends had no worries at all. Sam felt lucky to have such a good friend, and Leo felt the same. They believed they would always help each other in any situation, no matter what happened. But soon, on this quiet morning, that belief would be tested. But then, suddenly, they heard a sound. It was a loud, heavy sound. It was the sound of a big animal. Sam and Leo stopped. They looked, and there, between the trees, they saw it. It was a bear, a big, brown bear, and the bear was coming towards them. Sam and Leo were very frightened. Leo was quick. Without a word, without even looking at his friend, Leo ran to a tall tree. He climbed up and up and up, high into the branches. Up there, Leo was safe. But there was a problem. Leo did not help Sam. He did not call to Sam. He only thought about himself. Sam could not climb the tree. He did not know how. And now the bear was very close. Sam was terrified. His heart was beating like a drum. But then, in that difficult moment, Sam remembered something. He remembered an old piece of advice. A bear will not touch a person who lies very still, like a dead person. So Sam did a brave thing. He lay down on the ground. He made his body completely still. He held his breath. He closed his eyes. And he did not move, not even one small bit. The huge bear came closer and closer. It came right up to Sam. The bear put its big nose near Sam's face. It smelled Sam's hair. It smelled Sam's ear. Sam stayed as still as a stone. He was so frightened, but he did not move. Finally, the bear decided that Sam was not interesting. The bear turned around, and it walked slowly back into the dark forest. Sam was safe. When the bear was completely gone, Leo climbed down from the tall tree. He came running to Sam, with a surprised look on his face. "Sam," said Leo, "you are alive. That is amazing. But tell me, I saw the bear. It put its mouth right next to your ear. It looked like it was speaking to you. What did the bear say?" Sam stood up slowly. He looked at his friend Leo, and he was quiet for a moment. Then Sam spoke. "Yes," said Sam, "the bear did speak to me. The bear told me something important. The bear said, 'A true friend never leaves you alone when there is danger.'" Leo's face went red. He looked down at the ground. He felt ashamed deep in his heart, because he understood. Today, he was not a good friend. When the danger came, he ran away, and he left his friend alone. From that day on, Leo never forgot the lesson. He learned that a real friend is not only for the happy days. A real friend stays with you in the good times and also in the hard times. And that is the story of the two friends. Let us learn the important words from this story. The first word is forest. A forest is a large place full of many trees. Example, they walked in the forest. Forest. The next word is bear. A bear is a big, strong, wild animal. Example, the bear was brown and huge. Bear. The next word is afraid or frightened. This means you feel fear. Example, Sam was afraid of the bear. Afraid. The next word is still. Still means not moving at all. Example, Sam lay very still on the ground. Still. The next word is climb. To climb means to go up, using your hands and your feet. Example, Leo climbed the tall tree. Climb. The next word is danger. Danger is a situation that is not safe. Example, a true friend helps you in danger. Danger. The last word is friend. A friend is a person you like and trust and care about. Example, a good friend never leaves you alone. Friend. And remember the lesson of this story. A true friend is with you in the good times and in the hard times too. This is a beautiful and important lesson for all of us. Now, before we finish, let us have a quick vocabulary review. We learned many new words today. Let me say the best words one more time with a short sentence for each. Listen and try to remember. Poor. Jim and Della were poor. Gift. Della bought a gift for Jim. Sell. She sold her hair. Buy. He bought the combs. Wise. They were wise because they loved each other. Airport. Maria went to the airport. Ticket. Show me your ticket, please. Passport. Do not forget your passport. Flight. Have a good flight. Gate. Go to gate number 12. Forest. The two friends walked in the forest. Afraid. Sam was afraid of the bear. Friend. A true friend helps you in hard times. Wonderful. Say these words again and again this week. Use them when you speak. Write them in a notebook. When you use a word many times, it becomes your word. It becomes part of your English. Now, before we finish, let us learn some useful everyday phrases from our stories. This is very important. When you learn full phrases, and not only single words, your English becomes much more natural. People will understand you easily. So listen and repeat these phrases with me. The first phrase is, Merry Christmas. We say this to people at Christmas time. It means, have a happy Christmas. Merry Christmas. The next phrase is, good morning. We say this to people in the morning. Good morning. In the afternoon, we say, good afternoon. And in the evening, we say, good evening. The next phrase is, thank you very much. We say this when someone helps us or gives us something. Thank you very much. You can also say, thanks a lot. The next phrase is very useful for shopping. It is, how much is it? We ask this when we want to know the price of something. Remember, Della asked, how much is this chain? How much is it? The next phrase is, may I see your ticket, please? The words may I are very polite. We use them to ask for something in a kind way. May I see your ticket? May I come in? May I help you? And the word please also makes your English polite and kind. Always try to say please, and thank you. The next phrase is, have a good flight. We say this to someone before they travel on an airplane. Have a good flight. We can also say, have a good trip, or have a safe journey. And the last phrase is a very special one. It is, I love you. We say this to the people who are special in our hearts, to our family, and to the people we love. Jim said it to Della, I love you. So let us remember all our phrases together. Merry Christmas. Good morning. Thank you very much. How much is it? May I see your ticket, please? Have a good flight. And I love you. Learn these phrases well. When you use full phrases like these, your English will sound natural and beautiful. And here is one more small piece of advice to help you speak. Do not wait until your English is perfect. That day will never come for anyone. Instead, start to speak today with the words and phrases you already know. Make small sentences. I am happy. I have a bag. This is my ticket. I love my family. Small sentences are wonderful. Every day, add 1 or 2 new words to your small sentences, and they will slowly grow bigger. Talk to yourself in English. Describe the things around you. Tell yourself what you are doing. This is how you become fluent, not in one day, but a little bit every day. Be patient with yourself, and be proud of every small step. And that brings us to the end of our video. Today, you did something wonderful. You listened to 3 beautiful stories in English. You learned about love, and travel, and friendship. You answered many questions. You learned a little grammar, and you learned many, many new words. I am very proud of you. Now, I have a small task for you. In the comments below, tell me, which story was your favorite? Was it The Gift of the Magi? Was it A Day at the Airport? Or was it The Two Friends? Write your answer in English. Do not worry about mistakes. Mistakes are how we learn. I will read your comments. If this video helped you today, please do 2 small things for me. First, give this video a like, and second, subscribe to Bookish English and turn on the bell so you do not miss the next story. Every week, I bring you new stories to help you learn English in an easy and beautiful way. Thank you so much for learning with me today. Remember, learn English slowly, learn English every day, and learn English one story at a time. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.